This is Deb Helfrich, hashtag Redhead is She-Hulk. I'm also the founder of hashtag Wellbeing Philosophy. And this video, because I just found myself in my improv, in my brain going, Harpo exec, holler. Now here's the situation. I'm sitting right here, found a new corner for Zanzi and I just went inside my old stomping grounds of HSS, now Dietrich College. Everything's getting named for the rich people. I don't object to that as much as you might think. But what that snarkiness was about is something that got disproven when I went inside. Because all around outside, there's always plaques, you're either dead or extraordinarily rich. And I was thinking, that's not the best model for the kids. But inside, there's a whole photo collage, year by year, of some other milestones. Still, probably not exactly what I would be looking for. Got to give the kids inspiration for pathways and stepping stones to what's going on. But back to the Harpo exec. If you want to be Oprah's favorite employee, seriously holler. Seriously. Here's the deal. I've been studying under Martha Beck, the smartest person Oprah's ever known. And I'm not ashamed to say, as soon as Martha Beck hollers at me, she might be willing to say I'm the smartest person Martha Beck's ever talked to. And she talked to a lot of smart people. The thing is why I do need to get to Ms. Winfrey pretty quickly is I've created a movie, Londolozi. And Londolozi means protector of all living things. And I am. As the globe's originator of the field of hashtag wellbeing philosophy. I'm here to teach the globe, every nook and cranny of Earth, every single human, life-centric thinking. The skills and strategies of thinking about life, not stuff. The current Western thought tradition is all based on the primacy of thinking about stuff. I mean, okay, it's great buildings, create great universities. But in the meantime, we're in a world where 50% of the human population lives in water-stressed regions. That's directly from the World Health Organization. And I think that by 2023, 2024. But here's the problem with that statistic, with that stuff, with that data. Think of the percentage of humans who never had access to clean water. I mean, it's bad that a lot of us are losing access to it. I myself have. There has been a water shortage in the city of Pittsburgh this summer. And when you are mobile homing and you need to buy gallons of water for yourself and your dog to stay alive, and over the last 3 weeks, mostly all of August, neither the Target nor the Whole Foods have gallons of plain water. You got to buy carbonated and flavored and sugared, which all cost 5 to 50% more. You get a gallon of water for 85 cents at the Target. Used to be able to. I've been water stressed. So part of my jubilance over here, I was celebrating in my mind because the doors are now unlocked. I'm no longer in a water shortage. Imagine being a 52-year-old American, no access to water in the first 3 weeks of August. That's what I'm here to tell you about, America. U.S. of hypocrisy. In my stand-up philosophy lingo. We are not what we go around telling each other we are. But we could be, and we could fix it. But it's not back there. The answers aren't back there. The answers are body, mind, and soul thinking. And build a world that doesn't value stuff as much as it values life, life-centric thinking. First, do no harm to any molecule of life. This is the key thing. We put that in every corporate charter. No more whistleblowers lose their livelihoods. We start creating a world where it truly is. That life force is the most precious force on Earth. And we're all interconnected, right? Who knows why there's a water shortage? And I mean, again, the Whole Foods, I had to, okay, well, maybe Target's got it. I go to the Whole Foods. They told me by the time I'd gotten weeks of waiting for Whole Foods to get it back in stock, Target, the Whole Foods had not had gallons of water for a month. Amazon can't get you a gallon of water. Also, I don't know, but it's national. But here in Pittsburgh, like meat prices, because since I've been on campus, since June 15th, there have been 3, like, century-level storms. Power down in Squirrel Hill, like every block of Squirrel Hill is under construction, because I think they're probably burying the power lines, because so much, the Target lost power. They lost food. It's funny though, but now they got the freezers and the the cold stuff all back in stock, and all the dry goods went out of stock. I also lost the foundation of my food pyramid, potato chips. Here's also why Oprah wants to talk to me. I have nailed overweight conditions. The theory underneath it, what morbid obesity's for, using evolutionary logic. In essence, why would evolution, and we know this ancestrally, we know that humans have always had the capacity to put on a lot of weight. And at certain periods, the royalty are always stocking in extra pounds. Why was this? Well, when we were hunters and gatherers, of which we still are basically, fundamentally, as a very complex organism operating under those principles, even though our whole world has been changed over the last 120, 150 years. It's a big problem. Our built environment thinks that we're one way, and we're almost exactly the opposite, in far as core foundational needs as animals, as mammals, as souls. None of those needs are in our civilization. That's what life-centric thinking is about. It's why I think I'm pretty damn smart. Is a degreed philosopher from Carnegie Mellon, 2 decades as a payroll implementation software consultant, which means my client was the IRS. I'm fabulously logical. But I can also think with Logic+Love intertwined. And that's what the world needs, a wise feminine philosopher. It was just all happy and stuff. Just the flood, the joy and the salience of strolling down the corridor of my old college. It's pretty cool. And that's what put me in my mind. I started doing a little improv about I've been creating a documentary all summer because I've been ignored and mobile homing, but I've put in a lot of work. It has all been pro bono. And one of the things in this documentary mindset of mine, it was I would like to have somebody send me a check to do a little, there's the scientific method, and this is again the stuff, reproducible studies, but the philosophical method is how to think in a volatile, unstable, whatever that VUCA thing is. But I mean, and again, how you are one day as a human is not how you are the next day, or the next week, or the next month. This is the problem with our systems. They're hundreds of years old. That none of them account for these appliances we got. For the changes in how we all interact and communicate and whatnot, they're not in the systems. Systems are created by white men who are dead already. The systems have to change when humans change. And humans change moment by moment. We've got a lot of terrain here to get our tech and our systems operating as fluidly and dynamically as we do ourselves. This is a big terrain of thinking for which, as the founder of #Wellbeing Philosophy, I can talk about everything using life-centric thinking, using evolutionary logic. And one of the things that I think would be to prove my point of why I think I have a crucial career that deserves a patron of the relatively blank check quality. I'm gonna need 8 figures at my disposal, to be perfectly honest. But think about this. I'm certain that if I was to have a conversation with 25 Americans, let's do around the Pittsburgh region, it could be anywhere, and then go and have 25 conversations, take the topics to try and direct the topics, or maybe not. I mean, again, so that would be the scientific method, would be, to try and set up the framework to have relatively similar conversations. The philosophical method, sorry for splitting back into the old trained ways for a second. The philosophical method would be just go have 25 conversations with Africans. I'm almost going to guarantee the 25 conversations with Africans will be fundamentally more interesting, more intelligent, more dynamic, more enjoyable. The Americans will be telling me a lot of stuff they have been told and memorized. The Africans and I will very most likely be co-creating a dance of a conversation. It's a difference in methodology that I want to do that. So of course that itself doesn't take 8 figures, but I'm saying there's so many things. There's the movie Landalozzi, Protector of All Living Things. And the movie, I have the framework. I have the treatment. I submitted the treatment to Ron Howard's Impact Entertainment, Imagine Impact Incubator. Sorry, Ron. But she ignored me. So, June 2019, wherein the baddie in my movie was all seasonal sunlight flu. Prognosticated COVID, philosophically. It's a movie uniting extremes in demonstrating racial harmony from just one white woman, the little catalyst, the little match goes to Africa. So this feature film, it's got the potential. I get the right collaborators. My co-stars are my college pal Lamont Rucker and Miss Jill Scott. And the 3 of us end up in the vicinity of Landalozzi and Gaborone, Botswana during all seasonal sunlight flu. Now, the first thing I want to do is hire an African screenwriter. Find out how come Botswana was one of the top nations in almost no deaths from COVID. Find out why Botswana had such great success and the U.S. of hypocrisy didn't. Fascinating movie it shall be. And there'll be a lot of singing and dancing. And there'll be a lot of celebrating the African intellect as it exists. And not the African intellect that mimics the Western thought. The African intellect that is as ancestrally focused as it is fluidly learning to adapt to the modern technological world that it lives in. It's been Deb Helfrich, #Redhead She-Hulk. That's my Dave Chappelle inspired one woman Socratic improv stage persona. another thing where I need some money. Not just for my own. I got a Netflix special or 5 or a dozen in me. But I also want to do the sister act of comedy clubs. The pandemic's been great for me in the sense that, I would have failed in comedy clubs. I got a good style. But it's more about light bulbs than laughter. And I admire comics, and I know that laughter is crucial. But we also need places where people go out, let's say, more for intellectual stimulation, more for hearing somebody talk through how they solved a problem. There's so many of us, just amateur hour, not to stand up and make fun of other people, be ever more raunchy. There are people who want to talk about how they made it through difficult circumstances in their childhood, in their job, and they want to share these stories of success with other people, because once you've been through something so horrendous, like being homeless at 52, you want to share your strategies. You want to stop the civilization from being one where somebody with so much potential and so much life in them is utterly ignored. But because I was utterly ignored and very mentally fit, I kept going and going and going until I'm pretty much, this all Oprah quality work. And it is. And Ms. Winfrey and I are going to have a blast talking about anything she wants to talk about. This has been the next Brene Brown, Deb Helfrich, at Gmail. Holler. And until then, harmony.